Toyota's CEO knows EVs are a scam. Akio Toyoda exposed all the lies, leaking massive EV problems car makers have been trying to hide from the public. Toyota's latest move will bring cheap gas cars back, finally putting an end to all the lies EV makers told us. EVs have huge problems, and the entire EV market is collapsing, proving the Toyota man was right all along. People are losing their jobs, EVs are rotting in dealer lots, and companies are literally about to close their doors. But Toyota's new move is set to change the game forever and bring back cheap, reliable cars. What are the political leaders hiding about EVs? Could EVs be a scam? Why did nobody listen to Toyota's CEO's EV warning? It all began with one man, Akio Toyoda, the guy running the biggest car company in the world. The man has been making gas cars all his life. But recently, he was forced to make EVs, and to him, this just didn't make sense. Toyota warned everyone, saying, going all in on EVs is a mistake. We must give consumers the choice to choose. You see, Akio Toyoda warned us years ago that EVs will be super pricey and not practical in the long run. And now that people are finally seeing through the hype, we can see just how right he was. In a minute, I will also tell you how political leaders even forced him out of his own company due to speaking the truth, so keep listening closely. Companies like Ford are selling each electric car at a $36,000 loss. Teslas are catching fire. EV charging networks have huge problems, and the entire market is a disaster right now. Toyota is pointing out that the EV craze isn't the one-size-fits-all solution that many thought it would be. Just like the fully autonomous cars that we're all supposed to be driving by now, EVs are just going to take longer to become mainstream than the media would like us to believe. But here's the kicker. Toyota isn't just throwing shade without reason. He's backed by some hard truths, especially about the raw materials we're banking on to fuel this EV revolution. According to him, we're looking at tremendous shortages of lithium and battery-grade nickel in the next 5 to 10 years. Imagine the chaos when production lines come to a screeching halt because we just don't have enough juice to power all these dream machines. And if you're thinking that's all, hold on to your hats because there's always more. Companies are already shutting down due to EVs, but more on that towards the end of this video. Toyota has been vocal about a looming disaster if we keep pushing EVs without a solid plan. The current business model of the car industry is going to collapse. The more EVs we build, the worse carbon dioxide gets. When politicians are out there saying, let's get rid of all cars using gasoline, do they understand this? This is what he said in a recent interview. He thinks EVs right now have 3 big problems that will only get worse with time. First, EV fires. This happens because EVs run on lithium-ion batteries, and when the temperatures go up, a not-so-little thing called thermal runaway kicks in and the EV catches fire. And the worst part is that when that does happen, you can't even get out of your car or run because most EVs only rely on software for even the simplest functions. Even the gear selector in the latest Tesla Cybertruck is on the roofline of the car. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Another big issue that he warned us about is the charging infrastructure problem. He warned us that the current systems are not good enough for people to only use EVs as their daily driver. What if you want to go somewhere remote? What if there's a storm and the charging grid gets overloaded? Your only option would be to hitch a hike with someone with a gas car. And the last problem Toyota's CEO had has to do with the political leaders, blindly promising false agendas while trying to sell you on EVs. Now, you'd think that if a guy is speaking for the public and actually wanting to do some real good out there, everyone would support him, right? But Akio Toyoda had to give up his CEO position because too many environmentalists and politicians got angry over his love for gas guzzlers. The Biden administration even imposed heavy fines on companies that are not able to sell a certain number of EVs, leaving no choice for smaller automakers than to build EVs. Just last week, 4,000 dealers sent a letter to Biden telling him to stop forcing EVs because they're simply not selling and nobody wants to listen. Ford got $9 billion in aid from the government, while Tesla smartly set up their manufacturing in China to lower costs. And everyone started thinking, maybe EVs will get cheaper now. But little did they know the reality behind fake promises. So what did Toyota do? They appointed a new CEO, Koji Sato, thinking that he'll move them towards an all-EV future. And to some extent, he even did. Toyota's new BZ series of electric vehicles are selling relatively well, but everyone got shocked when the new CEO went against EVs just weeks after his appointment. He essentially said, banning gas cars is not the agenda. We should focus on lowering emissions instead. We need to think about everyone, not just folks with fat wallets. If you don't believe EVs aren't selling, let's take a look at some numbers. Just last month, Tesla revealed that their third quarter earnings in 2023 were the lowest in 4 years. To make things worse, Elon Musk also said that Chinese EV companies are invincible and are soon about to come and take over our market, which led him to losing $80 billion in company valuation in just 1 week. Ouch, imagine that! The shares of the other big car makers who tried going electric like Ford and GM are also not doing well. They have now started stopping EV production, going back to good old gas cars. And if you think the Chinese are doing well with their cheap EVs, here's something that might leave you in shock. In 2019, there were nearly 500 EV companies in China. And now, guess how many are left? Do you think it's 400? Who thinks 300? How about 200? Well, it's just 90, and half of them aren't even profitable anymore. Just like the American EV market that's crashing right now, China has also turned into a dumping yard for EVs. So what should you, a common person simply looking to buy a cheap, reliable car, do? Wait for EVs to get cheaper or stick with reliable gas cars? The best option right now is to stick with gas cars and wait for our infrastructure to get better. But don't think Toyota's CEO is just here with bad news. He's a man of solutions, too. He believes in the power of diversity in our journey to carbon neutrality. There are many ways to climb the mountain that is achieving carbon neutrality, he says, reminding us that EVs aren't the only path to a greener future. In fact, Toyota themselves are working on a revolutionary new engine that offers a range up to 1,000 miles on a single tank and can even run on gas. More on that in a minute. In a world where EVs are often seen as the golden ticket to sustainability, Toyota offers a reality check. No matter how much BEVs progress, I think they'll have a market share of 30%. That leaves the remaining 70% as HEVs, FCEVs, or hydrogen engines. I have no doubt that engine vehicles will survive. It's a bold statement that highlights the need for a balanced approach rather than putting all our eggs in one basket. When asked about what he thinks of customer choices, he said that we, the common people, should get to pick the kind of car that we want to drive, instead of the politicians deciding what's best for us. And just due to these statements, the man is now going to war with the political leaders, fighting for the good old gasoline engines he believes in, wanting to give cheaper and simpler cars to the public. Thankfully, Toyota is developing something revolutionary that could end EVs forever. This is a game changer. They're talking about cars that could give you a jaw-dropping 1,000 miles on a single tank. That's going to take you from New York to Florida without stopping. What, no bathroom breaks? Wild, right? Wait, it gets better. These futuristic rides won't cost you an arm and a leg. We're talking about prices that are potentially half of what you'd pay for an EV today. Imagine getting all that range and saving your wallet from going up in flames. Toyota's saying this dream could become a reality by 2025. With their ammonia-hydrogen hybrid engine, along with the support of companies like Honda and Porsche, this could very well become a reality. EVs have issues, and unless you want to spend thousands of dollars in insurance and repairs, right now is not a great time to buy one. Even Toyota's current CEO, Koji Sato, had somewhat started getting the idea that maybe EVs are not the future everyone thought they are. For people who live in colder climates, the range drops by 30%, and for people who drive in cities mostly, the range just isn't enough. And not just that, most of these first-generation EVs also have huge quality issues, panel gaps, and software glitches. So what do you think? Should Toyota double down on gas cars instead of EVs? Are EVs a scam? Let me know down in the comments below. I just uploaded a video about groundbreaking news that could hurt the entire EV industry. Do check it out if you want to be truly shocked by what's about to happen with EVs.